Can you explain what documents do businesses need to open an account with you guys? And how long does it typically take for the account to be open? Because I know our case, like you said, we had like a time record. It was in 1 hour and a half, which was amazing.
So there are multiple paths, but the first one is either you don't have a business, okay, and then typically you will get at some point you will reach a point where we'll ask you, do you have business documentation? And if you don't, we are now working with providers like Legal Plus, for example, here in Morocco. That's basically just do that. They will create, if you want a Sarlo, SIL, they will, we basically redirect you to them. And then now we're also working on record speeds, but the last one we had was 7 days. In 7 days, basically, someone that didn't have a business created this whole documentation through Legal Plus, get their whole trade registry and so on, and then they come back to us and they can open an account, right? So that's scenario one. Say a week, you have no documentation, you come back to us, and depending on what you want, you are considered a business to us. Second one is auto-entrepreneur, right? It's a big part of it in Morocco, right? They are either sole traders or they want to be bigger business, but it's that sort of transition phase. Typically, we just need a certificate of auto-entrepreneur. That's it. It's as simple as that. So that's for the identification of the business. Then we need their CIN or some types of personal identification to make sure that they are who they say they are. We also need typically the registry of commerce, the RC, as we call the model J or model 7, I think, right? That enables us to understand who are the gérants. Right. Then the second piece is we need the statutes. Statutes tell us, okay, who are the shareholders, right? Because that's part of our regulatory requirements. Is we need to understand who are the ultimate beneficial owner behind the funds, and then basically we need the CIN of all the gérants, right? Just to make sure that same thing we do KYC, it's typical of the bank. How long it takes? So after that, once the whole process as you did was online, right? It's if you have all your documents, they're clean, they're updated, and so on. This can be within the same day, right? We have record speeds because we have a team that just does that. Just make sure that typically it goes through our team that makes sure the documents are right, they are dated, that you have that information that you said about the gérant are accurate. We matches that with the local registry of commerce, right? And then typically after that it goes to our licensed partner that also needs to give their go. Right? Because otherwise, imagine we start opening business right and left. So they need to make sure that we're compliant and they give the final go. Then we can open the account.